You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, woo, wheeling dealing, limousine riding, jet flying, son of a gun, and I'm having a hard time holding these alligators down. Woo!
You are watching the leaders in full immersion gaming, and this is the pregame show only on the NBL Network.
Welcome one and all to another edition of the NBL Live pregame show, and that's brought to you each and every week by our graphic sponsor, Web3KS.com. They do that overlay you see here on NBL Live, a ton of other graphics for us across the board, and they're super affordable, which is my favorite part. So if you or anyone you know needs graphics done for an affordable price, head over to Web3KS.com. They are the leaders in affordable graphic design. Thanks for hanging out with us, folks. I'm OSU, and we got a great game on tap for you tonight. It's a battle between two teams. This is a personal rivalry. Two NFC teams, two owners that are kings of the trash talk here in the NBL. It's Week 14 matchup between the Carolina Panthers and the Minnesota Vikings. And you're not going to want to miss this one. This one is a fun matchup. I know everybody in the NBL is excited for it, and we hope you guys will like it. Let's get some updates from around the league. And as always, it is Monday, so after this show, we'll talk about a half hour maybe afterwards. The NBL Network update will release. If you haven't watched it, that gives you your schedule for the entire week here on the network. What podcasts are coming out, what original shows are going to be released, and of course our NBL Live schedules. That'll be released on the network half hour afterwards. Just hit that subscribe button so you have notifications turned on, and whenever it gets posted, you'll get notified on that. And you can find out what's going on this week here on the NBL Network. All right, we got a couple players to watch in this game. And of course, on the side of the Carolina Panthers, Cam Newton, and this is a tale of two Cams right now. His numbers overall, not too bad. 61% completion percentage, a quarterback rating of 91.4, 18 touchdowns, 22 interceptions, where if you look at the stats around the NBL right now, that's not too bad. There are very few quarterbacks right now with positive touchdown to interception ratios. A lot of people are around that 500 mark. But owner TFA has been very critical of Cam, especially in the last two games. He's had a bit of the interception bug, throwing it to the wrong team. And so it'll be interesting to watch how short of a leash Cam Newton is on. You never know how much of what the owner says is just hot air to maybe motivate Cam Newton. Newton's a consummate professional, so it'll be interesting to see if he is on any sort of short leash or if they're just going to ride Cam Newton because of how talented he really is. It'll be interesting to see if Cam Newton will survive the entire game. Flip side, a player who's going to be looking to pick off Cam Newton, of course, is Harrison Smith, the very talented young safety in Minnesota. Look at those numbers. 8 interceptions, 3 fumbles forced. He has a touchdown on the year. He's also deflected another 9 passes, so 17 of the passes that have come his way, he has personally had his hands on. He also has 34 tackles, which is what makes Harrison Smith such a great player. He's able to not only affect you in the pass game, but he can come up and make tackles. It's not only in the pass game where you're tackling receivers downfield. He'll come up to the line, he'll blitz, he'll hit running backs. Harrison Smith is an all-around great safety, and he'll be looking to take advantage of Cam Newton, who's struggled the last 3 weeks. And that's the matchup that we're going to be watching, folks. It's going to be whether Cam Newton can find a way to stop turning the ball over, because this Minnesota Vikings team is hungry. They want to win. They want to show that they're somebody who can be reckoned with in the NFC North. A very tough division. They got to deal with the Detroit Lions all the time. They got to deal with a talented Chicago Bears team who's really come on here in season 26. It's a matchup of two motivated teams. The Panthers trying to right the ship as they head towards the playoffs. Getting an injury report here. One of the biggest injuries that you're going to notice, Kirk Coleman, free safety from the Carolina Panthers, one of the defensive leaders. He's out for a couple more weeks. The big one is Christian McCaffrey, the very talented halfback for Carolina and one of the main weapons for Cam Newton. He's out for at least 4 weeks with that dislocated elbow. Vikings, no major injuries. So it'll be interesting to see how McCaffrey, his absence affects Cam Newton against the Minnesota Vikings. I'm going to take the Panthers, though. I think Cam Newton is too good of a player to keep this streak of interceptions going. He's taking... I get the Vikings are hungry, and if the Vikings win today, it won't surprise me, and it shouldn't surprise anybody out there who's watching this game. I just think Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers are going to find a way to right the ship. This offense has been explosive all year. The defense has forced turnovers. I think they're the #2 turnover differential in the NBL. I think they'll force some turnovers from the Vikings. They'll come out with a close win. I'm going to put it at 24-17. I think it's going to be close, but if the Vikings come out on top, it won't surprise me. And there's only one way to find out what happens is to send it out to the game. So coming up right now is an NFC battle here in Week 14. It's almost playoff time here in the NBL. It's the Carolina Panthers and the Minnesota Vikings, and it's coming up right now here on NBL Live.
My name is Rex Dixon.
Greg Stein.
Clint from EA Sports.
You're watching NBL.
You're watching the NBL Network. And you're watching the MBLN Network.
Empty backfield for Atkins. He's going to be dropping back to pass here on 4th down. He's looking deep over the middle. He has a man. It's Brandon Cooks who catches it, makes a man miss.
Oh, that's
Woodard is dropping back. He's got open over the middle.
Wow. That big playmaker ability as he finds him again.
Into the end zone. Another touchdown. And welcome one and all to another edition of NBL Live, and we got a great game on tap for you folks. Two teams in the thick of the playoff race. It's Week 14 action between the Carolina Panthers and the Minnesota Vikings. Thanks for hanging out, everyone out there here on this Monday night. I'm OSU, and I'm super pumped for this game. I know everybody in the NBL is excited because these are, no doubt, two kings of the trash talk here in the NBL. Two guys who've gone at it with a war of words in the past, and now they get to settle this one on the field here in Carolina. Carolina in those bright blue jerseys. Minnesota coming out in their road whites, and Jerick McKinnon's going to be taking this kickoff. His heels are on the goal line. He's going to take this up past the 10 to the 15, just past the 20-yard line to the 21-yard line. Now we get to see this Minnesota Vikings offense come out. This is a Vikings team started off the season slow, and a lot of people questioned if sort of the big words from Minnesota would turn into anything. They were saying division title in their first year. They were saying that they were going to be the ones to challenge for the top of the division. Started off slow, but they're at 6-6 right now, and a win today, they puts themselves really in the playoff hunt, puts them into that wild card spot. The Dallas Cowboys at 7-5 in the second wildcard spot is on first down. The quick pass over to Stephon Diggs. Teddy Bridgewater finding Diggs, who makes a man miss. Is going to get up to the 48-yard line, give him 26 yards on the play. Stephon Diggs going to continue to be a weapon for Teddy Bridgewater. Bridgewater's main hope is just to stay healthy. This is a guy who, has a history of injuries, and it's going to be a question as to whether he can stay healthy in Minnesota and be that young star. There's no doubt he has the talent to be a star. But it's going to be about whether or not Teddy Bridgewater can stay healthy and continue to develop. As he's going to come out I formation, Stephon Diggs split out to the left. And it's going to be a quick drop, and it's an interception! It's picked off by who else? Luke Kuechly jumping the flat route. And Carolina, we talked about in the pregame how good they are getting turnovers. Their turnover differential is one of the top in the league. They force the second most turnovers in the NBL, and their defensive leader, Luke Kuechly, hasn't lost a step. He saw the flat route from the running back out of the backfield, and Kuechly jumps in and gives Carolina great field position. And what a great way to start with some momentum for the Carolina Panthers. Is on 1st and 10. It's going to be a hand up right up the middle to Jonathan Stewart. He's only going to get a yard here. Again, if you missed it in the pregame, no Christian McCaffrey. He is out for another 4 weeks, which should be, he may have a chance to come back that first week of the postseason, but he's definitely going to be out for the regular season. So Jonathan Stewart getting another opportunity. Lost his job to the young Christian McCaffrey, drafted out of Stanford, the rookie, and he's got an opportunity to maybe make a statement, and a guy who I don't know if Carolina's going to sign next year, but Carolina Jonathan Stewart may be auditioning for whatever his next team is, as Newton's going to drop back here on 2nd and 9. Boy, he had all the time in the world and could not find anyone open. It's Griffin coming around the outside and bringing down Cam Newton for a loss of 7 on the play. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 16, and that one, part of that's got to be on Cam Newton. He's so athletic. He's so quick. You got to have that clock in your head, though, and realize, I'm in the pocket too much. Time to take off and run. Instead, he takes the sack, and now they got to convert a 3rd and long. Ball's on the 37-yard line. Newton dropping back to pass here on 3rd and 16. He's looking deep over the middle for Kelvin Benjamin, who takes a big hit. Cannot come up with it. It's going to fall to the ground incomplete, and Carolina's going to be forced to attempt a field goal from the 37-yard line. This is no easy kick. It's a 54-yard attempt for the reliable Graham Gano. The ball is down, the kick is up, and it looks like it is good. A beautiful kick by Graham Gano, and I know Carolina's a little disappointed. You get that field position. You want to take advantage of it. You want to punch it in for 7 and make the other team pay for turning the ball over. They get points, though. They're up 3-0 early in this game. Minnesota. McKinnon is going to take this out of the end zone once again. He takes a big hit at the 19-yard line. And that's where the offense is going to come back out, and Teddy Bridgewater is going to have to recover. First pass, real easy timing route with Stephon Diggs. Man coverage on the outside. Diggs runs that quick out. And that's an easy pitch and catch and nice timing between quarterback and receiver. But Bridgewater on the interception really just focused in on passing it out of the backfield. And Kuechly read that one as this handoff is to Dalvin Cook. Cook's going to go down near the 15-yard line. And to add insult to injury, there's a hold on the play. That one's going to be declined. They'll take the 3-yard loss and the 2nd down. But that's the one thing about this Carolina defense. They force turnovers, and if you're Teddy Bridgewater, there's been a tendency at times to make that one read, maybe predetermine where you're throwing it. If you do that against Carolina, they're going to make you pay. We've seen them force 4, 5, 6, 7 turnovers in a game this season alone. It's a talented Carolina secondary, and their defensive line gets after the quarterback. So Teddy Bridgewater's going to have to be careful in this game as he comes out 2nd and 13. 3 wide receivers, 2 over to the left, 1 to the right. Dalvin Cook in the backfield. Bridgewater changing up the play. He's going to drop back to pass on 2nd and 13. He'll toss this underneath to Thielen, who catches it and brings it up to the 27-yard line. But Thielen is down on the play, clutching what appears it's either his arm or his ribs. He's down, though, and we'll get word on that injury when we find out. Carolina up 3-0 in this game as we're in the first quarter. Early turnover by Teddy Bridgewater, an interception. Luke Kuechly picking him off, jumping the route, and set up Carolina for a field goal on their first drive. Now a big 3rd and 2 here for the Minnesota Vikings. 4 wide receivers, 2 to each side. Watch out for Kyle Rudolph, left side in the slot. It's Bridgewater dropping back to pass on 3rd and 2, rolling out to his right. He gets it off, throws it across his body, finds Floyd as the first down and more. Takes a big hit, puts the ball on the ground, and Luke Kuechly recovers the football. The 2nd turnover of the day forced by the Carolina Panthers. And who else would be around but Luke Kuechly picking up the fumble. And what looked like a great play by Teddy Bridgewater. It was a great play by Bridgewater, but Floyd puts the pigskin on the ground, and Carolina here at home has some momentum as Jonathan Stewart is going to take the handoff up the middle. He'll get a couple yards on that play as we're finding out that Thielen should return to the game. Just a little case of elbow bursitis, which if you don't know what elbow bursitis is, I'll get real medical nerdy on you guys. There are little sacs in your elbow that keep the joints lubricated so the bone just isn't rubbing on bone-on-bone action, and that's what can cause real damage to your elbow. Every once in a while, those little sacs just get inflamed, and it's not fun. It is painful, but it is not a serious injury. As Cam Newton's looking deep over the middle of the field. Oh, and old Greg Olsen right down the middle. I think he's about 100. I think he's turning 104 this year, folks. Greg Olsen somehow still in the league, still making plays. That little shallow post up the middle, and Carolina up 3-0 and an opportunity to punch in as they're inside the red zone. 1st and 10 for the Carolina Panthers. 3 wide receivers, 2 over to the right, 1 to the left. Newton in the shotgun. He'll be dropping back to pass on 1st and 10. Looks out to the flat for Jonathan Stewart, who comes up with the catch, but that one well covered by the Vikings. He'll maybe get a yard on the play. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 9. 2nd and 9 for the Carolina Panthers. Ball's on the 11-yard line. You know they're going to want to get a touchdown after that early disappointment, not being able to move the ball at all. 2nd and 9, Newton dropping back to pass. Looking, he looks up to the right side. It is complete, and it is a touchdown for the Carolina Panthers. Oh, and who else but the young phenom, Curtis Samuel out of Ohio State. He is so versatile. At Ohio State, we saw him play at halfback. We saw him split out. We saw him play at wide receiver. We saw him all over the field. And Carolina has a lot of uses for him in the offense. That's a guy that Minnesota's going to have to key on in this game, folks. Because if they don't, I mean, Christian McCaffrey not in the game. Samuel is their maybe their best athletic offensive weapon. Of course, they still have Kelvin Benjamin on the outside, but Curtis Samuel is going to be a guy I assume Cam Newton is going to be relying on this week. As Minnesota's going to get their third drive and is going to hope to not hand the ball to Carolina once again. $10-0, Carolina on top. Minnesota with an opportunity. I mean, they need to get anything going because they've had some nice plays, but really they've only run about 6 plays because the turnovers have come early in these drives. They haven't even crossed midfield. And so Teddy Bridgewater in the offense is going to need to get something going, or else this one's going to turn into a rout in Carolina. -3 yards on the ground so far for the Vikings. Bridgewater drops back to pass. Going to toss it underneath to Dalvin Cook, who gets up to the 37-yard line. Dalvin Cook, of course, out of Florida State, dropped in the draft boards, fell to Minnesota, and I think Minnesota's pretty happy they felled him because he is dynamic on the offensive side of the ball. 10-0, Carolina on top. Captain Munderland with that last tackle. A nice pickup by the Panthers in the offseason to shore up that secondary on the opposite side of James Bradbury. I formation for the Minnesota Vikings. Dalvin Cook at the top of that I. 2 wide receivers over to the left side. Kyle Rudolph on the right side of that formation. On 1st and 10, it's going to be a handoff to Cook. Great block on the outside. He's got some room. A first down and more. Oh, a shoestring tackle. Might have saved, I don't know about a touchdown. There was another safety coming over, but Adams able to get the shoestring tackle, bring down Cook after an 18-yard gain, and Minnesota finally into opposing territory. Jarrell Davis in the chat saying, I got the game streaming on the big TV. NBL always looks good on your big screens. If you guys haven't had a chance, just get a Chromecast. Just do whatever you can to get it on the big screen, because this, it looks like fun when you put it on the big screen. 4 wide receivers, no deep safety for the Carolina Panthers. Look out for a deep shot, folks. 1st and 10. It's going to be a handoff right up the middle to Murray, who's going to get to the 36-yard line. Latavius Murray, 8 yards on the play. A nice run. But I don't know if that was the right choice. It would be interesting to see what Minnesota would have done with the athleticism of Stephon Diggs on the outside. If maybe taking a shot downfield, making something happen here on the road. They get 8 yards out of it, though. It's now a 2nd and 2 for the Vikings. 3 wide receivers out to the right. Kyle Rudolph alone on the left side of that formation. And it's a quick pass deep down the middle of the field. He had a man wide open. I believe that was Thielen running open down the seam. But Teddy Bridgewater a little excited, a little pep in his throw, and it goes way over the top. Luckily that there wasn't any deep safety there, because it's going to bring up a 3rd and 2 instead of a 3rd turnover. Again, 2 turnovers already for the Minnesota Vikings. A fumble by Floyd, and Teddy Bridgewater threw an interception on the first drive, and that's really killed all momentum. It's going to be a handoff to Dalvin Cook to try to get this on the ground. Look at him fight forward, and he has the first down at the 33-yard line. What a run by Dalvin Cook, showing the power out of Florida State right up the middle. Sort of just sat on the hip of his left guard and said, big fella, find me a hole. I need to get to that first down line. And they get it at the 33-yard line. Love to see what you guys think, your predictions in this game. It's 10-0 Carolina, but Minnesota with a little bit of momentum now as Dalvin Cook takes a big hit in the hole. He's only going to get a yard on the play. Going to bring up a 2nd and 9, but I'd love to hear what you guys think is going to happen in this game. Carolina up 10-0. Carolina has not had any trouble moving the ball, but they've had short field. So what do you guys think? Is Cam Newton going to turn back to his turnover cam and maybe make some mistakes? Is Minnesota going to get back in this game as they come out 3 wide receivers, 2 over to the left, 1 to the right? Dalvin Cook in the backfield. It's going to be Bridgewater dropping back to pass on 2nd and 9. Blitz coming up the middle. It is picked up, but Bridgewater has no one to throw to. He's just going to chuck this out of bounds, and that's going to take us to the end of the first quarter with your score right now. The Carolina Panthers up 10-0 here at home against the Minnesota Vikings. Happy-go-lucky in the chat saying only got Madden 18 for the rookies. Yeah, this rookie class, absolutely phenomenal. A lot of fun to see on the field. Draco in the chat saying 20-13 Vikings, predicting a comeback here from the Minnesota Vikings. It's going to be 5 wide receivers, 4 Teddy Bridgewater, 2 over to the left, 3 over to the right. Steps up in the pocket, tosses it underneath to Thielen, who has the first down. What a job by Thielen. Had that early elbow problem, but he found a way to not only catch that ball underneath. He was about 3 yards short when he caught him, but you saw him recognize the zone defense and work in between them and use that breakaway speed to work right up the middle. Again, that's Luke Kuechly in the middle. No slouch on the defensive side of the ball. But Adam Thielen able to get forward for the first down and a big conversion for the Minnesota Vikings. 10-0 Carolina on top. Vikings driving, though. 1st and 10, 2 wide receivers for Teddy Bridgewater. Cook in the backfield. It's going to be handoff to Dalvin Cook, who cuts it back up the middle on the counter play. Fights off one tackler. Nice, strong run from Dalvin Cook. He gets to the 16-yard line. Give him 4 yards on the play. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 6 for the Vikings as they're inside the red zone on the 16-yard line. 5:14 and counting to go here, folks. We appreciate everybody tuning in. NBL Live action week 14. We're getting right down to the playoffs, folks, and we'll be updating those playoff standings over the next couple NBL Live games. It should be fun going down to the wire. 2nd and 6 for the Vikings. Bridgewater under center. Bunch formation, 3 to the right, 1 over to the left. On 2nd and 6, it's going to be handoff to Dalvin Cook, who cuts outside, makes a man miss, and Dalvin Cook's going to get into the end zone. Oh, some poor tackling by the Carolina Panthers. Maybe going too much for the big hit, and Dalvin Cook punches it in from 16 yards out, in Minnesota somehow, after 2 disastrous starts to this game, a interception and a fumble, they're still in this game, folks. 10-7 Carolina on top, and a strong drive from Minnesota. That one started all the way back at the 18-yard line. They were able to get it all the way down to the end zone, and with an assist from the Carolina Panthers with some bad tackling. Kyle the Flat Killer, Matt Miller, our very own NBL graphics guy, saying Panthers need to wrap tackle him, not just go for the big hit. Going for Sports Center a little too much. JY asking, should all 10 points come after turnovers? They did indeed. Early interception by Teddy Bridgewater. Carolina actually moved backwards on that drive, but we're in field goal range. Kicked a 54-yard field goal, and then off the fumble, they were able to get it down the field, and Curtis Samuel caught a pass 11 yards out from Cam Newton, and an interception from Cam Newton. And boys and girls, if you turn off the game because the Minnesota Vikings were down early, you're missing what could be a runaway the other way. It's Cam Newton. We've seen him throw 1 interception, and that leads to 2. That leads to 3. That leads to 4. You just don't know what'll happen. That one, an inexcusable throw from Cam Newton. And Minnesota gifted great field position at the 22-yard line. It's Teddy Bridgewater under center. Play action pass. He's rolling out to the left side. Toss it underneath to Young, and that one well covered on the outside by what I believe that was James Bradbury on the tackle. He's actually going to lose 3 yards on the play. That's going to bring up a 2nd and 13 for the Minnesota Vikings. Looking to go up in this game somehow as Cam Newton gifting a turnover, and Zach Moore, our very own Z-Star, the new commissioner of the grid, by the way. Congrats to him. That happened a couple weeks ago. Saying what I think everybody else saw there, that was a predetermined read. Cam Newton was looking for one person on that play, and it ended up biting him. This is going to be tossed by the Dalvin Cook, and a great tackle in the backfield by Shaq Thompson, getting back there in the shoestring tackle on Dalvin Cook. And now Minnesota facing a 3rd and 16 if you're the Vikings. This may be an opportunity to just play conservative, run a draw, run a screen. You don't want to do anything that's going to turn the ball over, because a field goal here, you tie the game back up, and you have all the momentum. A turnover here, and we go back to the 2nd-rated Carolina Panthers scoring offense. It's the last thing you want to do. 3rd and 16, 3 wide receivers over to the right. Stephon Diggs alone on the left. Bridgewater's going to be throwing for this one. Rush coming up the middle. He looks down the middle. It is Floyd who catches it, who makes another couple miss, and he's into the end zone. The Minnesota Vikings reclaim the lead. Oh, boy, the missed tackles from the Carolina Panthers defense continue to bite them, and the Minnesota Vikings are on top in this game as pending this extra point. Ball is down, the kick is up, and the Minnesota Vikings have stunned the home crowd. They're up 14-10 here as we're nearing the 2-minute warning. This kickoff's going to be taken back at the 1-yard line, up past the 10 to the 20 to the 25, past the 25 up to the 27-yard line. Now Cam Newton's got to come out, and again, folks, this will be interesting to watch. We've seen Cam string together interceptions. It seems like this year, a guy who's usually been very composed, he just gets flustered. He throws one interception, it gets in his head, he throws another one, maybe forcing it too much, and then he's thrown 7 interceptions, and the Panthers are losing. They're down 14-10, but no need to panic if you're the Panthers. If you're Cam Newton, you just got to make smarter reads. He comes out pistol formation, 3 wide receivers split out to the left in a bunch formation. Greg Olsen on the right side of the formation. Jonathan Stewart in the game at halfback. It's going to be Newton dropping back to pass. They're not afraid to keep throwing it. Looks over the middle of the field. Kelvin Benjamin can't come up with that one. It's an incomplete pass, and that's been a question as to what Kelvin Benjamin has left in the tank. He's never been the speed guy. He's been a hands guy and a big physical presence on the outside, but he's had some problems of a little bit of the dropsy. It's tough to, he's not making those catches in traffic that you usually see from a strong guy like Kelvin Benjamin. Be interested to see if that continues. He's already had 2 drops in this game through contact as Newton drops back to pass, empty backfield. Rush coming up the middle, and Newton's going to take another sack. That's 7 yards. Griffin's 2nd sack of the day, and Cam Newton watched that come right up the middle and said, thank you very much. Please come back here and sack me because I'm not getting rid of the ball. And the decision-making of Cam Newton continues to be questioned in Carolina. And this could turn disastrous if they can't get anything going here, because Minnesota, they're feeling confident. They have the momentum, and they're going to get the ball back if they can't convert this 3rd and long. Newton dropping back to pass, looking deep down the right side, forcing it down the field, and that one should have absolutely been intercepted. A bad throw by Cam Newton. They're going to punt it back to Minnesota, who's going to have all 3 timeouts. They have 2:57 to go, and they've got the momentum on their side. The crowd is silent here in Carolina. This punt is away. It's a boomer all the way back inside the 10-yard line. Wayne's going to let this one bounce. It'll go all the way through the end zone. What a punt. And Minnesota's going to get the ball on the 20-yard line. 2:49 to go. All 3 timeouts. JY saying Kelvin needs to move to tight end. Banana's asking, did Cook get in the end zone? I missed it. He did from 16 yards out. I formation now for the Minnesota Vikings. 2 wide receivers out there. Diggs in the slot. Watch Diggs. When he gets in the slot, he gets mismatches against linebackers and safeties. 1st and 10. Bridgewater dropping back to pass. Big blitz coming. And he tosses it underneath to the tight end, Kyle Rudolph. And look at the missed tackles continuing for the Carolina Panthers. That one probably should have been brought down for a 2-yard gain. Instead, it's a 1st down and an 18-yard gain for Kyle Rudolph and the Minnesota Vikings, who are having their, they're just moving at will against the Carolina defense. The number 20 defense, number 20 passing yards, a little deceptive. They give up a lot of yards, but they do force a lot of turnovers. But right now, it's just been Minnesota moving at will after the first 2 drives where they turn the ball over. 1st and 10. It's a handoff to Dalvin Cook, trying to find something around the left side. And he's going to have a 1st down. He is so strong, as it looks like James Bradbury down on the play. And the last thing Carolina needs is injuries on the defensive side of the ball. They're already dealing with an injury to Kurt Coleman. He'll be out till probably week 17, more likely the first week of the postseason if they do make it. The way Carolina's been going, who knows where the Panthers are going to end up. This team was rumored to be the best in the NBL, and since then, well, they've been struggling recently. There's been a lot of turnover here in the NBL, and I mean that both literally and figuratively in the term of the Carolina Panthers. This handoff to Dalvin Cook up the middle goes nowhere. No gain on the play, and James Bradbury, they're saying it's just some bruised ribs, a little. He got the wind knocked out of him. He'll be back shortly. Gonna bring up a 2nd and 10 for the Minnesota Vikings. The 2 stories in this game, folks, have been the Carolina Panthers, really tale of 2 offenses, 2 early drives, but once they got forced in some bad situations, Cam Newton threw an interception. Cam Newton couldn't get the ball moving as Carolina's going to get their 1st sack of the day right up the middle. It's K1 Short, the talented defensive tackle, getting to Teddy Bridgewater. The sacks keep coming. That one's an 8-yard loss. Going to bring up a 3rd and 18. The 2 storylines we're following, though, is the Carolina Panthers early control up 10-0, but couldn't hold on due to Cam Newton turnover and inability to move the ball. And Minnesota's been back in this game partially because Dalvin Cook is very talented, don't get me wrong, but a lot of it has been Carolina's sloppy tackling, very sloppy defensively. Now 3rd and 18, if you're Carolina, you don't want to give up a 1st down on this play. Get the stop, get the ball back, maybe get some points on the board. It's Bridgewater dropping back to pass, dropping back deep, looking over to the right side. It's complete to Dalvin Cook, and the first down saving tackle. He's going to be down at the 43-yard line. It's going to be on 4th and 2. It'll be interesting to see if Minnesota thinks about going for it here. They're within the rules. They can go for it on 4th down, but they're up 14-10. It looks like they're just going to come out and punt the ball here and try to play the field position game. What a big tackle there. Got 16 to the 18, but a shoestring tackle kept Dalvin Cook from that first down. This one's going to go well into the end zone. Carolina, minute 45 to go and 2 timeouts. Cam Newton can put something together. Even a field goal gets the home crowd back into it and gets Carolina feeling a little better about themselves. The JY Movie Guy in the chat saying, Panthers going for big hits and not wrapping up. Absolutely true. Serpent saying, give him a draw with Cook, 2nd and long. They did not. They tried to continue throwing the ball, and that has bitten both teams. It's going to be a toss to the outside for Jonathan Stewart. He's going to get a couple to the 22-yard line, and that has been maybe the biggest effect felt by the Carolina Panthers is the fact that Christian McCaffrey's been out, and they really have had no run game. They put it all on the shoulders of Cam Newton, and because of that, this is a team that needs some supplemental offense and to take some pressure off of Newton and make that play action work better because he's got such a good move. It's on 2nd and 8. It's Newton looking over to the right side. It is complete to Curtis Samuel as the first down up to the 43-yard line. Give him 21 on the play. Happy-go-lucky saying, watching these live streams make me want to take my talents to the NBL. Hey, if you want to apply, head over to our website, 365.maddenbomberleague.com. Under the Join tab, you can fill out your application. Deep pass over the middle. It's Kelvin Benjamin with the catch at the 21-yard line. First down, Panthers, and the home crowd back into this game. They feel the life coming back into this team. Just as we were talking about how they look lost, JY saying Panthers look lost without a speed back like McCaffrey. Kyle Matt Miller saying Carolina missing McCaffrey right now. Curtis Samuel makes a play and Kelvin Benjamin makes a play. 1st and 10, it's a handoff. Jonathan Stewart has got a big hole on the left side. I don't care how talented you are. Anybody could have run through that hole. Give them 12 yards on the play. They're going to hurry back to the line. 33 seconds and counting in the first half, and they're feeling 6 coming on the board here in Carolina. 27 seconds. Man going in motion, 1st and goal. It's going to be handoff to Jonathan Stewart again, who cuts it back up the middle, and a saving tackle on the inside, able to break off his block and bring down Jonathan Stewart, who looked like he had nothing but end zone in his sights. He'll be brought down at the 5-yard line. Going to bring up a 2nd and goal for Carolina. Yeah, absolutely, folks. If you haven't applied to the NBL, head over to the website. Get on the waiting list. Get into this league. It's a lot of fun. Our development league, The Grid, man, that was a bad one. Our development league, The Grid, does a great job at getting guys ready. This is a quarterback draw design run for Newton. He's going to go down to the 3-yard line. Carolina's going to use their last timeout now, a 3rd and goal. Carolina probably going to have to pass this one. Anywho, if you haven't seen our development league, The Grid, they do a great job of getting you used to the NBL rules, and a lot of great guys and great competition in The Grid, and they get called up into the NBL. So again, apply 365.maddenbomberleague.com. 3rd and goal. Newton dropping back to pass, rolling out to the left side, looking to throw it. He takes a sack, and oh my, they're going to have to hurry to line here on 4th and goal. 6 seconds and counting. Newton in the shotgun. Stewart trying to get back. 1 second to go. They're going to get no points out of this ending drive, folks. The one thing you can't do when you have no timeouts and you're inside the 5-yard line is take a sack, because they needed a field goal. They needed points out of that drive, and Minnesota is going into halftime feeling great about themselves, and sloppiness and undisciplined play has been what has killed the Carolina Panthers so far. Man, oh man, folks, if this game is close at the end, we will see if the missed 3 points on that drive comes back to bite the Carolina Panthers. Leaving points on the board, never something you want to do, especially when there was so much positive on that drive. Curtis Samuel getting involved in the offense. Jonathan Stewart getting a nice run. Kelvin Benjamin, a big catch down the middle, and they get nothing out of it. 1st and 10, it's a handoff to Jonathan Stewart, who is able to spin off of one tackle. He gets up to the 33-yard line, give him 6 yards on the play. And folks, that's why when I'm in the eyes of a coach, I think that it's important to save your timeout, especially at the end of the half. You know you're driving. I know they used that last timeout on that quarterback draw, but if I'm them, I'm rushing to the line on that one because you've got to have one left for your field goal kicker when you get into a situation like that as Stewart gets obliterated back at the 31-yard line. He'll go down for a loss of 2. But yeah, if I'm a coach, I sit there and try to save at least a timeout for a field goal, because if something happens like that, mistakes happen, especially for Cam Newton, who's really been sort of out of it the last couple of weeks. You got to have a timeout left. Call that one, get the field goal unit out, and get your 3 points. You'd be only down 1. You're still down 4 in this game. And plus, Minnesota gets momentum because they don't give up any points on that drive. 3rd and 6 for the Carolina Panthers. Empty backfield for Newton. So he rolls out to the right side, trying to run. He's going to take the sack there. Had some opportunities coming across the field on those drag routes and just didn't throw the ball. The 4th sack by the Minnesota Vikings. And there's been a lot of question as to how much of this is Cam Newton doesn't feel like he has time. We've seen 4 sacks in this game, folks. Cam Newton has had plenty of time to throw the ball. He just sits in the pocket. He's making 1 to 2 reads. And on that play is a broken tackle and a nice return here by Trey Waynes. He's up to the 40, to the 45. He's up 2 into enemy territory. Took that one back from the 5-yard line all the way to his own 40. And Minnesota rolling right now in Carolina. But back to the sacks issue. Everybody's been questioning if the offensive line is really up to the task. There's been some amount of it's on the offensive line, but Newton has had a couple coverage sacks as Cook has a lot of room on the left side. He cuts it back up the middle, trips over his own man, and there's no one to catch him. Dalvin Cook back into the end zone. Minnesota extends their lead. Oh man, things going from bad to worse for the Carolina Panthers. The crowd is silent and everybody is now questioning. Let's set aside whether Carolina will win a playoff game. Let's question whether or not they're going to make the playoffs at this rate. They are just losing like no other. 40 yards for Dalvin Cook, 21-10 Minnesota. Turn's going to be taken up to the 23-yard line. I think we're having some adjustments by somebody on this play. It looks like the Carolina Panthers are making some sort of adjustment. So we'll sit here and talk for a second. We appreciate everybody tuning in. While we have this pause, I want to give a big shout out to our graphic sponsor, web3ks.com. They're also a pregame sponsor here on the NBL Network. They do a ton of graphics for us across the board. Big shout out to all business at web3ks. So if you or anyone you know needs graphics done for an affordable price, head over to web3ks.com. They are the leaders in affordable graphic design. On 1st and 10, the drop back pass, and I don't know if you guys could tell, that's not Cam Newton in there anymore. The string was out. Derek Anderson into the game for Carolina. This is not the Derek Anderson from 2007, folks, when he was with the Cleveland Browns, led them to a 10-6 record. This is a much older Derek Anderson, but they just want somebody else in the game, maybe to let a fire under Cam Newton as Anderson finds Kelvin Benjamin, and Benjamin drops another one in contact. Going to bring up a 3rd and 10 for the Panthers. I don't think this is the right call. And again, I'm no longer the owner of the Panthers, but Cam Newton is too talented. He really hasn't done anything in this game too poorly. I mean, he's taken too much time in the pocket. He's only thrown 1 interception, which was a predetermined read, but he's made some nice throws. The minute you start changing quarterbacks, you put doubt into the minds of everybody out there. And I don't know. Let's set aside if I don't know if benching Cam will light anything, as that one is intercepted by Woods. That was just Derek Anderson's not very good, folks. I don't know what to tell you. That one was a horrible throw. And this comes back to the second question, which is, I get you're mad at Cam. I get Cam Newton maybe isn't playing at the level he's supposed to. I get Cam Newton is not being the Cam you're expecting. But is Derek Anderson really better? Is Derek Anderson going to come onto the field and be a better player than Cam Newton is? I think we proved it on that drive. 2 incompletions, 1 was a drop, 2 overthrows, and then 1 of them was an interception. Hand off to Dalvin Cook up the middle. Nice job by the Carolina defense bringing down Cook for only a 1-yard gain. We'll give him 2 up to a 2nd and 8 from the 26-yard line. It'll be interesting to see if Derek Anderson stays in the game, if this was just a one-drive thing. If this was just a one-drive motivational technique, boy, that backfired badly for Carolina. as they're going to run a jet sweep here with Latavius Murray, who hurdles a man, and Murray's got room, and Murray's walking, sidestepping. Oh, he almost got tackled doing that showboating into the end zone, but Minnesota's going to score again, and they are running away with this game, folks. Let's not forget, as this kick is up and good, let's not forget it was 10-0 Carolina to start this game. The Panthers had the crowd into it. The Panthers forced 2 turnovers, and since then, 28 unanswered by Minnesota, and Carolina just beating themselves at this point. And credit Minnesota as this kick, oh, there's a flag on the play, so this one almost surely coming back. But this one looks really cool. And that's the story of the Panthers' day as he's into the end zone. You can celebrate all you want. It's coming back to the 17-yard line. But again, credit the Minnesota Vikings. They're playing phenomenally, and this is a team that is now starting to look like a playoff team. If they hold on to this game, there's plenty of time left, so who knows. But if they hold on to this game, they go to 7-6. The second wild card in the NFC is the Dallas Cowboys at 7-5. Be interesting to see if Minnesota can find their way into the playoffs because this team's playing really well right now. As Derek Anderson's still in the game, looking over the right side, and that's 3 overthrows in 4 passes. Is Anderson staying in this game, folks? I mean, tell me in the chat, would you stick with Derek Anderson? 0 for 4, an interception, 3 overthrows. Is this Anderson's team? Is this bring back Cam? What is going on, folks? The 2nd and 10 for the Carolina Panthers. Anderson in the shotgun, looking over the middle of the field. He finds Kelvin Benjamin. Oh, Lord! It's a miracle, and Carolina, Derek Anderson completed a pass. He found his own wide receiver. Anderson in the shotgun. He's going to be passing it once again. He's looking deep over the middle. He finds another one. That one to Curtis Samuel. And Derek Anderson... maybe he just had to get the jitters out. That's back-to-back great throws by Anderson. Not easy. Samuel's 3rd catch on the day. He's been their best weapon so far. And Carolina all of a sudden on the 21-yard line. A quick score here, and it's an interesting game. 1st and 10. Anderson in the shotgun. Oh, he's being rushed, and he's going to go down. And, Darrelle Revis coming up, making the sack there. You want to talk about, not blaming Cam Newton. That one was... the offensive line on that play, right up the middle. I don't care if Cam Newton's back there. I don't care if Derek Anderson's back there. That's a sack no matter what. But that may be the first one I've seen today that was a true offensive line missed coverage, blitz getting through the offensive line. The rest of them have all been real coverage sacks and bad reads by mostly Cam Newton. Anderson in the shotgun, 3 wide receivers, 2 over the right, 1 to the left. Anderson dropping back to pass on 2nd and 17. He's got all the time in the world. He's going to have to get rid of this ball. He finds... underneath, I believe that's Devin Funchess with the catch, his first one on the day, and now they have a 3rd and 4. Carolina hurrying back to the line. They need at least a field goal out of this one to cut this to a 2-score game. 3 wide receivers once again. Anderson in the shotgun. The blitz is coming. Oh, lucky that wasn't a fumble. It's an incomplete pass. And Carolina, I think they're going to kick the field goal here. You got to think they're taking the point. They are coming out in the field goal formation. 28-10, Carolina trying to cut into this lead, stop the bleeding for at least a moment. The kick is up, and it is good. Carolina's cut this to a 2-score lead. It's 28-13, folks. Remember, Carolina missed out on points at the end of the first half. Could be a 12-point game. Instead, it's 15 right now. Lip in the chat. The Panthers forgot how to football. Captain Planet. We saw Kiki69. Okay, thanks. Wrong video. No, this is the right video, man. Stick around. This is the MBL, the Madden Bomber League Week 14 action. This is broadcast number 128. And now, all of a sudden, it's been Minnesota as MBL Network. I'm saying Carolina was up 10-0 to start the game. That's right, folks. Carolina started this out 10-0. It was 28 unanswered by the Vikings. As Bridgewater breaks a tackle in the backfield, he's still trying to throw the ball, looking deep down the field for Stephon Diggs, who catches it, and Stephon Diggs and Teddy Bridgewater hook up. What a play on NBL Live, folks. Revel in the athleticism of Teddy Bridgewater making the huge play. I don't know if you can hear that, folks. Those are the Boo Birds. They're out in full flock here in Carolina as Minnesota's broken this one open. After a nice job by Carolina getting down the field, they can't get a touchdown. They've had to settle for 2 field goals now inside the 30-yard line. They missed points at the end of the first half. They're missing tackles. That was another one. Teddy Bridgewater in the backfield. You got to bring him down, big fella. That is K1 short in the backfield. You have to tackle Teddy Bridgewater. You are a big, strong defensive lineman. Bring him down. Instead, Bridgewater finds a way to slip out of the tackle and somehow completes it to Stephon Diggs. That's one of the best plays I've seen on NBL Live as Griffin gets his 3rd sack on the day. What a great job he's doing on the defensive side of the ball. 6 sacks for Minnesota. I can't believe what I just saw, though, folks. That might be one of the top plays I've ever seen on NBL Live. Teddy Bridgewater doing a superhuman impression and keeping his eyes downfield and finding Stephon Diggs on the sidelines, who not only beat his coverage, he caught the ball, he stayed in bounds and got in the end zone. Play action pass, and it's another sack for the Vikings. 7 on the day, another injury, and it's going bad for Carolina, folks. If you're a fan of the Panthers, turn it off. Go watch Cake Wars. Go watch anything else that's on TV right now. You don't want to see the massacre that is happening here in Carolina. Third and 25 for the Carolina Panthers. Shotgun formation. It's Cam Newton in the shotgun. He's looking deep down the left side for Kelvin Benjamin, looking to make a play. Benjamin can't come up with that one. Nice job on the outside to bat that one away. And now a 4th and long, and Carolina's just hoping to get out of this game. Captain Planet saying that's Saints in the OSU. Look, I've been around this for a while. I think my first game was somewhere around like broadcast 45 or something. So I've seen a lot of these games. That was one of the best plays I've ever seen, especially from a quarterback. You don't see too many quarterbacks with that sort of athleticism to break sacks, as this punt might go. He's at the 40. That's a block in the back, though, so Minnesota's just going to fall down. Darrelle Revis just comically blocking the back. It's Derek Anderson. He'll be out for the game, tearing his shoulder, so if you're Carolina, you're stuck with Cam at this point. But yeah, I've been around for a while. That was unbelievable. That was really, really unbelievable, folks. That's going to be one of those plays that we're going to remember for a long time here on NBL Live. 35-13 Minnesota. Yeah, Captain Planet with a great point. Only 10 points off of turnovers for the Vikings. It's been all the defense holding up the Carolina Panthers and Minnesota just doing what they can. Carolina's been very sloppy. Missed tackles all over the place. Yeah, NBL Network with a great stat. 35-3 run by the Vikings. 35-3. It was 10-0 Panthers to start the game. It looked like this one was going to be all Carolina. 2nd and 11 for the Vikings. 33 seconds and counting. It's going to be a handoff to Dalvin Cook, who's just making the defense look silly. Look at him go. 10, 5. Yeah, you can celebrate, big fella. Get into the end zone. Dalvin Cook making the Panthers look silly. And if the route wasn't on before, folks, it's just turned into, this is just terrible. This is a horror movie. Turn it off if you're a Panthers fan. If you're a Vikings fan, rewatch this over and over. Show it at family gatherings. Show the domination by Minnesota on the road after down 10-0. They've rattled off 42 of the last 45 points. And Carolina's just absolutely shell-shocked, as maybe the only bright spot has been this kick return game. It's been real good for Carolina. As it looks like wholesale change is going to be coming for the Minnesota Vikings. We're going to see, if you haven't seen, if you're a family member of like the 4th string wide receiver, the 5th string running back, you're about to see them all. So congratulations. Good for you. You get to see your son play, Mom. As Minnesota up 42-13. And folks, we want to take a moment to remind you to check out the NBL Network update. It'll be releasing tonight. I know I said in the pregame, maybe a half hour after the stream. Might be a little longer than that. Got to get some stuff together, but it'll be released tonight. Don't worry, folks. That'll have your schedule for the entire week. NBL Live games. It'll have our podcast on Friday. Friday podcast night. We'll let you know what's coming up. We'll let you know BTF episodes when those are coming out. You don't want to miss any of that, so that'll come out tonight. It's Newton in the shotgun, and Newton gets clobbered, and once again, that's another example of the offensive line gave him 6 seconds in the pocket. If you just are only running fly routes and your receivers aren't getting open, it doesn't matter what your offensive line does. Eventually, Minnesota is going to get in the backfield. 42-13 in this game, folks. Hound, our very own NBL's Hound, saying Vikings surprise playoff team. The way that this team has been playing lately, absolutely, 100%. As this toss is underneath, it is complete up to the 36-yard line. Carolina's going to try to hurry to the line and get one more play off before the end of the third quarter. I don't think they're going to get there. As Jonathan Stewart, once again, the last guy to the line, we're going to get to the fourth quarter. Your score right now, 42-13 at this point, folks. It's not about the game. It's about watching what else Minnesota's going to do in this game. And if Carolina can put it together. We appreciate everybody who's hanging out with us here on Monday night, folks. I'm just pulling up some information. Gotta have some interesting stuff to talk about. No color commentator, and now not really even a game. It's on 3rd and 3. They try to run to get the first down. I think Stewart's going to be taken down short of the line. It's 4th and inches. So with this loss, the Carolina Panthers are going to drop. I mean, again, I don't want to say that a comeback's out of their own possibility, but the fat lady's on the stage, and she is singing, folks. Carolina's going to drop to 8-5. This looked like the division was going to be sealed up a long time ago. Let's see, the Atlanta Falcons are next. They're sitting there at 6-6. They play the 5-7 Saints this week. And the Falcons, I mean, look out. With the way that Carolina has been playing, is Carolina's going to go for it here on 4th and inches. They're going to try to run the option. Pitch to Greg Olsen, getting a carry. He's going to get the first down. Greg Olsen running the speed op. That was the not-so-speed option, folks. But let me read this off. Falcons are sitting there at 6-6. They play the 5-7 Saints twice in the last 4 games. They play the 5-8 Buccaneers, and then they finish with the Panthers. This looked like it was going to be a Carolina division. All of a sudden, Atlanta has life as Kelvin Benjamin can't make another catch. Look out for the Atlanta Falcons coming down the stretch. Now let's take a look at the Minnesota Vikings. Going to move to 7-6. And again, their hope is a wild card berth at this point. They do have an opportunity. Detroit has the first wild card at 8-5. And behind them is the Dallas Cowboys at 7-5. The Vikings, let's see, they play as this handoff, or excuse me, that's just Cam Newton running the ball over the left side. They got the 3-10 Bengals next week. They've got the 4-8 Packers, then they finish off with the 10-3 Bears. So an opportunity for some wins here. And the way the Vikings are playing right now, I think that's the most important thing. I don't care who your schedule is. I really don't. Like, there are times where if you play the division leaders the last 4 weeks of the season, first of all, the NFL hates you, and second of all, I'm very sorry for your luck. 3rd and 9, it's a play-action pass. Cam Newton looking over the middle of the field, and it's intercepted by Kendricks. Another interception. That one, I don't blame Cam Newton because I thought that one was surely open. He just threw that one a little low, and Kendricks with a nice play in the middle of the... He just sort of hid in the middle of the defense, as that's another interception for Cam Newton. But nonetheless, I don't care who you play. I don't care what goes on. It's all about momentum. The playoffs, it's not about who the best team is. It's who the hottest team is. And the Minnesota Vikings right now, as Jerick McKinnon puts the ball on the ground, I think that's recovered by the Panthers as they finally get a turnover. Mario Addison with the strip. This eye test for the Minnesota Vikings. The Panthers haven't played well, but it's not like Carolina's turned the ball over 5 times. It's only 3 turnovers. Minnesota has done it all offensively. Their defense has been stingy. Only 33 rushing yards for the Carolina Panthers. This Vikings team is the real deal, folks, and they have made an incredible recovery from where they started, and who knows where they can go from here. As it's a play-action pass for Cam Newton. He's looking over the left side. He's got a man wide open. It's Devin Funchess who puts the ball on the ground. I mean, what else are you expecting at this point, folks? Trey Waynes recovers it. I don't have any words. We've had a weird trend on NBL Live, folks. If you haven't checked out our games, again, all of them are archived under our NBL Live tab. We've had seasons here on NBL Live. This is season 26. We've had seasons where every game is close. We've had nail-biters. We've had down to the finish, and we still might have that. But honestly, coming from as another fumble, this one by McKinnon, Carolina's going to end up with a touchdown. That's 3 fumbles in 3 plays, folks. Carolina's going to get a score out of this one. It's not going to be enough to come back in this game, but it is funny. It is absolutely funny. But coming from a network director, a guy who's done a lot of these broadcasts, The games this year have been weird. We've had a lot of blowouts on NBL Live. We've had a lot of odd games that seem like they're close, but they're not. The last week game was probably our best one, but it's been a weird season on NBL Live. Carolina's going to go for 2 because they think they have a shot. They want to cut this to a 21-point lead. Cam Newton's going to be dropping back to pass on this 2-point conversion. Looking, he's got 2 guys open in the back of the end zone. He finds a way to throw it to the middle, and Kendricks intercepts it. Literally, if you throw that about 2 seconds early, you have 2 guys open on dig routes in the back, and Cam Newton finds a way to throw a pick. I don't know, folks. Tell me in the chat. This is my question I'm posing for you guys out there, because this game has turned into a dud, so I got to find something to talk about. Is Cam Newton broken? Is he broken? Is he just done? I'm not saying is Derek Anderson the choice to start for the next couple games, because we saw what he did, and now he has a shoulder tear, so he's probably not even going to be available. But is Cam Newton broken? Is he absolutely just got the yips at this point? He's been hit too many times. I'm not saying like concussion broken. I'm saying does he just not have it anymore, at least for this season, and need a complete reset? As Latavius Murray's going to get the ball. He's going to lose 4 yards on the play. Everybody in the chat saying, yes, the real Tupac Shakur. Good to see you, Tupac. He's broken. Banana saying he's broken. Yeah, Kyle Matt Miller saying you got to at least high pass that one. You got to just get it over the first line because you had 2 guys open in the back of the end zone. Got to give a big shout out, by the way, as that pass is incomplete, to our mods in the chat, our very own Porter, and of course our assistant network director Shadow Rose, aka Unisolated. Big shout out to those guys keeping the chat nice and clean. We appreciate all the work that you guys do. Pricey's saying he's broken now. I think he's broken. Shadow's saying he was never the answer, only the best available for the season. As this rush comes up the middle, they're going to find Floyd, and I think Floyd's going to get close to the first down. He's, I think, going to be short of Sam Bradford into the game. He is going to be at 4th and inches. Homer in the chat saying the 20-step hashtag hopback. Yeah, the Minnesota quarterbacks love that deep drop back. They're not afraid to lose 15 yards on a sack. It's on 4th and inches. This punt is away. We're at 3:34 and counting. What a punt into the, with the wind at his back, taking up 10, 15, 20. And what else but another fumble, and it's picked up by the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, just the turnovers keep coming. Bad news all over the board for the Carolina Panthers, who are not covering the ball up. It's the 5th turnover for the Panthers, and it has not been all Cam Newton's fault, folks. The narrative has been it's Cam. Cam is broken. I 100% agree that he is. But in this game, it has not just been Cam. It has been the entire Carolina Panthers team that has looked completely outmatched. The defense has made bad plays, missed tackles all around. You've seen maybe the best plays have been special teams, but offensively, the receivers are dropping the ball. Kelvin Benjamin had at least 4 drops in tight coverage, but Benjamin's a star. He's got to come down with those catches. Fumbles. Jonathan Stewart not able to get anything going. The offensive line not able to create any holes. It's been a team effort in this loss, folks. The handoff to Young up the middle. He's going to get a yard on the play. Stick with us to the end of the game. We will have our selection for the NBL Live Player of the Game. Safe to say Cam Newton not up for it, folks. Third and 8 for the Minnesota Vikings. Real Tupac Shakur saying we need you back as owner of the Panthers. That one's going to be a loss. Cook back into the game on that one. Minnesota's going to get attempted field goal. I will say, not that I don't think I'm awesome, but look at the Carolina Panthers record when I was owner of the team. There were a couple good years, but there were plenty of bad ones. So I don't know if you want to wish that one on anyone. Captain Planet saying belt. Yeah, hold on a sec. Tout asking, OSU, you think TFA drafts Cam replacement in the first round? Yes. Assuming there's a quarterback there. There has to be a quarterback there. But if there is, absolutely. If you haven't seen it, by the way, head over to the Twitter. Of course, follow our league at Bomber League and the network at MPL Network. But give a follow to our belt. We just got this. I'll give you guys a good look. This thing is heavy, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, this was a fun thing, and a big shout out to everybody who helped get this one made. Of course, the guys who made it over at proambelts.com. If you guys need a belt, they're not paying for us for sponsorship. They just sent us the belt and we paid for it. But if you guys need a belt made, proambelts.com. They did a great job. Yeah, it's pretty nice. It is heavy. It is a heavy belt, but this was just a fun thing done by the NBL. Get something together. I know our own mod, Shadow Rose, is very offended by all things belt. He never wears a belt with his pants. He doesn't want to see a championship belt. He doesn't want a bacon, egg, lettuce, tomato sandwich. He wants nothing to do with it. But it's just a fun thing. We're going to pass it around to some guys in the league. It's not like the winner of the league gets the belt. It's just a fun thing for the league. Guys can take pictures of it, and you can follow it on Twitter at BeltMBL. That's at BELTMBL. That's where you can follow the journey of the belt as it goes around the NBL. I'm going to put this back now because it's legitimately heavy. Oh, guys, the game is still going on, by the way. There's a minute 33 to go. We've sort of lost all hope of watching this game. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I think if there's a quarterback there, they absolutely will draft him in the first round. If there's not a quarterback there, it's going to be Cam Newton next year because Cam Newton's too talented to not be the starting quarterback in Carolina. But, I mean, if there's a quarterback there, there's no way the Panthers can pass up. Except if offensive line's a big need on this team. They've had trouble protecting the quarterback. I know that owner TFA thinks that the offensive line is an issue. So if there's an offensive lineman there, a star, the Panthers may take them, but they've sort of gotten into a bad stretch here where if they miss the playoffs, I mean, miss the playoffs, they're going to be 15, 20, 25 in the picks. There's just not going to be a lot of, like, superstar talent there. There'll be some good players. It's just going to be more of what need they can get as Minnesota's going to kneel this one out. Again, folks, if you missed the beginning of this game, Carolina was up 10-0. This was not a blowout the whole game. Carolina looked like they were on their way to a big win. They forced turnovers on the first two drives, and then it was just the Minnesota Vikings come back. Carolina got a late touchdown off a fumble by Jared McKinnon, who put the ball on the ground twice in 2 carries. So I don't think McKinnon's going to get too many carries here for the Vikings down the stretch. But it was all Minnesota, and it was a great showing by the Minnesota Vikings on the road. They're going to move to 7-6 on the year and keep their playoff hopes alive. They're looking for that wild card spot in the NFC. And the Carolina Panthers, they're going to drop to 8-5, and a division that looked like it was going to be sewn up, all of a sudden is back in play, folks. And that's what's going to happen here in the NBL. And again, I'll tell you guys here, as we go down to these last couple weeks, all the games we're going to be showing you are going to be playoff affecting matchups. We're not going to show you any game that doesn't have anything to do with the playoffs. We want the best matchups here as we get down to the end of the season, so you're going to get the best action here on NBL Live. And then we're going to broadcast the playoffs. We always broadcast every game of the playoffs, and we're going to try to do that this year. You may have noticed, as this one's running down, we're trying to avoid as many games on Saturdays and Sundays, and you can check out the network update for the game times that'll come up after this game, as the Minnesota Vikings, what a win in Carolina. They come out on top 45-19 on the road. Odd score, by the way. But nonetheless, you may have noticed we're trying to avoid doing games Saturdays and Sunday nights. We know there's a lot of football on TV, whether it's college football, whether it's the NFL. We're trying to avoid as many conflicts as possible. There's going to be some amount of we can't control because we want to bring the games. We want to put the games online. So I just we'll see where we go. We didn't have one this weekend. We'll see where we go as we get down to the playoffs. But again, check out the NBL Network update here on the network. Hit that subscribe button so you know when it comes out, and turn those notifications on. We'll be releasing that after the game. It's time for the selection for the Madden Bomber League player of the game here for NBL broadcast number 128. This one's easy for me. It's Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook's set the tone in this game. There were some nice performances, especially defensively for the Vikings, but Dalvin Cook set the game. He set the tone. He was the man, a man on a mission, a man to be reckoned with, and Dalvin Cook is your play of the game here for Broadcast 128. You can check out the archives. 13 carries for 136 yards and 3 touchdowns, averaging 10.4 a carry. That is a stat line, folks. You can check out the archives on our website, 365.maddenbomberleague.com. It's under the NBL Live tab. You can check out our play of the game history all the way back to Broadcast Numero Uno. And join us for our next NBL Live game. You'll find this on the network update coming out tonight, but our next NBL Live game will be Wednesday night at 8 o'clock Eastern time. And this one's going to be a fun one. And two teams maybe heading in different directions, I'm not sure. It's the Chicago Bears and the Detroit Lions, Week 15. The Lions, they have struggled. And this is the most we've seen them struggle here in the NBL in a while. Trying to find their way right now, but you know that a Matt Stafford-led team can turn it on at any point. They're going to be facing off against the Bears, who are on top of the NFC North, but the Lions have owned the Bears in past seasons, so that game should be a lot of fun. This Bears team flying under the radar right now, folks. A lot of people aren't talking about the Bears. That'll be Wednesday night, 8 o'clock Eastern time, right here on the network. And again, check out that network update coming out tonight. And that's going to do it for us, folks. Appreciate everybody hanging out with me tonight for this NBL Live Game Week 14 action. Well, for me and everybody here at the NBL Network, we appreciate everybody tuning in. Your final score, once again, the Minnesota Vikings trouncing the Carolina Panthers 45-19. We'll see you Wednesday night, 8 o'clock Eastern time, right here on NBL Live.